they're very religious when it comes to their culture, especially family time. But when I'm with my family, I'm more Americanized because, in all honesty, I can't really. It's more my friends because I'm more a friend influence.
Okay. How are your parents different from other parents?
Definitely more strict than most parents. My mom half the time won't even let me out of the house, so I'm surprised she let me get a job. So they're definitely more strict compared to other parents.
What is the hardest part of being Asian American?
Stereotypes that we get a lot.
What are like common stereotypes that you hear often? What's the most common?
Bad drivers. That one I hear a lot. And that we're naturally good when it comes to academics, which is that's not true. In all honesty, not many people are very good at academics.
What makes you different because you are Asian?
I don't really see any differences in all honesty, besides the cultural thing.
What do you wish people understood about being Asian American?
That we're not really that much different from everyone else. Asian's just a label.
Yeah. Alright. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Hello. George. I'm here with Alina.
Hello.
She's in our class. What's the hardest thing about being an Asian American?
The hardest thing is that there are lots of stereotypes and how Asians can't drive and how Asians are supposed to be so good at math. And I hate math.
Really? What are Asians good at?
Asians are good at playing badminton.
This is true. What do you say when people say, oh, you're Chinese?
I don't really take offense to that because I know I don't look Chinese. My eyes are not that chinky.
What is chinky for people that don't know what chinky is?
Well, chinky is what people call Asians when their eyes are very small.
Oh, alright. How are your parents different from normal? I wouldn't say normal, but
Well,
American
my parents are very strict. I have to ask them like 2 days before if I could go out, but then sometimes I just go out because I don't know. And then, like everybody said, they do expect you to be much more smart and.
What do you wish people would understand about being an Asian American?
Not all Asians are bad drivers.
Are you a bad driver?
I think I'm a pretty good driver actually.
Alright. I don't know why we did that, but alright. We're done.
So do you identify more with your Asian heritage or your American heritage?
Let's just go.
Both.
So what do you identify more with?
I guess Asian.
How are your parents different from other parents?
They don't really have they don't act like American parents like white. They're more attached to their Asian side.
Okay, what is the hardest part of being Asian American?
The stereotypes.
So there are people who get eyelid surgery to make their eyes look bigger. Asian people. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. It's subjective. Some people do it for I don't know. They want to look different because they're not comfortable with the way they look. So I don't really have anything to say about that.
What makes you a different type of person because you're Asian American?
I don't really know.
What do you wish people understood about being Asian?
That we're not all the same. There's a lot of different types of Asian people, and they're not all just like the same thing.
Do you know where the Asians hang out on campus?
They hang out in all different places around campus.
Are there subgroups?
I guess you can say that.
What do you think Asians are good at?
Singing and math.
I mean, what are Asians not experienced with?
Having a bunch of friends.
Definitely Asian.
Why?
Well, a lot of people around school know me as being really into my martial arts, and all of those martial arts I learned have come from Asia. And being at home, I have a big Filipino influence. My family really keeps me traditions.
How are your parents different from other people?
My mom is a nag, but all parents are usually nag. Well, I guess it goes with the Asian stereotype of like, it goes with the Asian stereotype of really being strict on homework. But I think any caring parent would be strict on that. Saying,
What is the hardest part of being Asian American?
hardest part?
Okay, sure.
Well, for me, the hardest part is keeping tradition and keeping true to myself because, you know, right now in this age we live in and with all the people and our peer pressures, like it's easy to just give in and be like everybody else. But I really want to keep to myself like who I am, my culture. I don't want to forget that.
Well, we learned about certain beauty procedures that Asians go through. How do you feel about eyelid surgery that some Asian people do?
I myself think it's ridiculous. People should be proud of who they are, and there are reasons why, you know, not everyone is the same, because being different is the best, you know. That's why we have all these other nations. I mean, what would the United Nations be with everybody looking the same? You know, stay true to your culture. That's what I think.
I don't get it. Wait, what's the question mean? Like, what do Asians not have experience with?
Yeah, like, what are you not familiar with? Like your Asian parents.
What are they not good at?
They're not good at? That's kind of hard. My mom is kind of like all around good at everything. Not.
Asians are good at everything.
Good at everything. I guess they're not. I know it's stereotypical, but I know they're not very good at driving. Because it's kind of true. My mom is kind of crazy when it comes to driving.
Alright. Do you identify more with your Asian heritage or your American style?
American style.
How are your parents different from other parents?
I guess they're different because both my parents are two different cultures. So you always get a like mix of one side and the other side, you know. So
what's the hardest part about being Asian American?
Nothing really. I can't think of anything that's really hard about being Asian American. I'm proud of who I am.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Do you identify more with your Asian heritage or your American self? But if you had to pick one, if you're more strongly identified with both sides. You're more Americanized, it's more with your Asian heritage. How are your parents different from other parents?
They're very strict.
What's the hardest part about being Asian American?
What's the hardest part? About what?
Being Asian American.
Yeah.
Just anything. Stereotypes? Okay. So there are some Asian people who undergo eyelid surgery and they have their eyelids like cut bigger. And what do you think about that?
I think that's gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Why do you think they do it?
Like their eyes get bigger.
What makes you different because you're Asian?
I'm chinky.
You're chinky?
Oh, I know.
What do you wish people understood about being Asian American? Okay. And do you know where the Asians hang out on campus?
Everywhere. They're separated.
Okay, what are Asians good at?
Making rice.
And what do Asians not have experience with?
He's Asian. He's part Japanese. Are you really?
Okay, thank you. And so, what's your name?
YJ.
Thank you, YJ. Do you identify more with your Asian heritage or your American culture?
American.
Is yours really? With
For you, it's Asian?
yeah, for me it's Asian. I guess for her it's American.
Okay. How are your parents different from other parents?
I think typically they say Asian parents are stricter, but I think mine are just like everyone else's. Like mine aren't especially strict.
Mine are really traditional, so mine are really strict on if you go out a lot, girls can't go out more than guys. Stay home, stay hungry.
What's the hardest part about being Asian American?
New expectations for parents. Yeah, I guess the stereotype.
So there are certain Asian people who get like eyelid surgery to make their eyes look bigger. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I'm like kind of religious. I'm Christian, so I just see it as like you're born how you are, and you should just embrace who you are and stuff. For people who do get surgery for it, that's their own thing. People get surgery for a lot of things nowadays, so I guess it's just their insecurities kind of thing.
Okay. So what makes you different because you are Asian American?
Traditions, mainly. Yeah, mainly traditions.
What do you wish people understood about being Asian American?
Maybe not all families, but a lot of families are stricter and it's kind of a lot more pressure. So yeah.
So at schools, do you know where Asians hang out at schools on the campus?
My school is all Asian, actually, basically. So we're just everywhere.
Where do you go?
I go to Hopkins. I'm in the MSJ year. MSJ year. I'm actually not from here. I'm from Arizona.
Oh, wow.
So we're actually a minority over there. So I actually don't know where most of the Asians are.
So what are Asians good at?
Badminton, math, and school. Tennis, I think so. Tennis, yeah.
And one more question. What do Asians not have experience with? So not good at.
Hard.
I don't know. I can't really say as a group.
Yeah. I think just in general nowadays, since our society is so different and diverse, you can't really say specifically one kind of thing Asians aren't good at.
Thank you. And what are your names?
My name is Karen Chen.
Okay.
I'm Delina Chen.
Thank you.
Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood